Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So, what does food mean to you? Well, join me today as we are going to get some tips on hostessing for the holidays, because if you don't know it already, the holidays are here. And also, stay tuned for this week's best products pick for my holiday guides for 2025. So, as I've been mentioning in November and December, that many companies have sent me products to review, and I only pick the ones that I really love to recommend to my audience. So, even though they're sent to me in exchange for a review, the ones that you hear here and at the marialiberatishow.com blog on our Best of the Holiday Guide 2025 are products that I love and would recommend to you. So when I think about hostessing for the holidays, I always come back to this simple truth. People remember how you made them feel far more than they remember the menu, the tablescape, or whether the napkins matched. The holidays can get so tangled in performance, the perfect roast, the perfect playlist, the perfect everything. But the real magic happens in the moments that are not curated at all. The laughter that erupts from the kitchen, the friend who shows up early just to keep you company while you finish the salad, the way a home feels when it's lived in, warm and ready to receive. For me, hosting is an act of care. It's opening your door and saying you belong here. And that doesn't really require perfection. It requires intention. A pot of something simmering on the stove, a candle burning in a scent that feels like a memory, a table that invites people to sit, linger, and be themselves. I love the little touches, a handwritten place card, a dish that nods to someone's childhood, a tea towel that tells a story. But they're never the point. They're simply invitations to slow down. And if you're the one hosting this year, I want to say this: give yourself permission to enjoy your own gathering. Step away from the kitchen, sit with your guests, let someone else refill the wine. The holidays aren't a performance, they're a practice in presence. And the best hosts aren't the ones who do everything. They're the ones who make everyone feel at ease, including themselves. So today we're talking about the heart of holiday hostessing, the rituals, the shortcuts, the mindset shifts, and the small, thoughtful details that turn a gathering into a memory. Not perfect, but personal. Not stressful, but so soulful. Because at the end of the night, when the dishes are stacked and the candles have burned low, what lingers is the feeling of being welcomed, seen, and celebrated. And my special guest today is Rachel Leonard Kennedy. She's from thekennedycurie.com, and she's going to give us some tips on hostessing, which is such a big thing during the holidays. Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Maria, thank you so much for having me on your show. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I was really excited to get to kind of meet you in person by doing this podcast interview.
Oh, thank you. Well, I looked at your website and I was really excited to have you on. I love the way you kind of really get into style. So, but I know we were going to talk about hostessing, and you had some great ideas on making, hostessing a success during the holidays, or, kind of switching it up, or giving us some kind of points on how to be a great hostess, I guess.
Yeah, I hope so. So I grew up with a super Southern mom who was just any excuse she could to hostess. I mean, like
Uh-huh.
Longaberger basket parties, Tupperware
Wow.
parties,
Uh-huh.
cookie exchanges for
Uh-huh.
raising funds for our school and all of that kind of stuff. So what I
Uh-huh.
learned was that getting people to commune together doesn't have
Uh-huh.
to be this big overblown
Uh-huh.
production. And I
Uh-huh.
think social media, and I fall into this trap too. I'm scrolling and I'm looking for inspiration, or I'm just looking for entertainment. And I see so many really beautifully produced parties that people put on. And it
Uh-huh.
makes me, and I think it makes a lot of people feel like, okay, well, if my get together isn't to this level, should I
Uh-huh.
even bother
Right.
instigating a casual hangout with my
Right.
friends?
Right.
So, one of the things I love to tell people is if you can just focus on giving people a memorable experience
Yeah.
where they, maybe laughed until their stomach hurt, or they at least left with their tummies full and their
Mhm.
hearts full, then that means that you have done your job as a hostess.
Right.
So one of my favorite phrases, and this comes from this woman named Susie Moore. She's like a life coach, and I love a lot
Uh-huh.
of her work, but she says, let it be easy. And
Uh-huh.
she's talking about that in context of relationships, but I love applying it to hostessing
Uh-huh.
because not everything has to be recorded, filmed, photographed for social media. So if
Uh-huh.
you can look at what you already have in your home, it can be
Mhm.
something plain, it can be something simple. And then if you want to add a little festive touch to it by going out in your neighborhood, or I like to go to places that allow you, like local parks, you're allowed to take branches or pine cones or things off the ground and
Mhm.
make, a potpourri bowl that looks festive. Or
Uh-huh.
I even save ribbons off of past Christmas presents and I use them
Right.
to decorate bunting. I want to really instill this idea in people that if you look around your home, or
Uh-huh.
even, I mean, I like to go shopping at my mom's house. I'll go in her house and I'll be like, oh, you haven't used this platter in a while, or are
Right.
you using these candlesticks? And I'll borrow things from her. I
Uh-huh.
borrow things from neighbors.
Uh-huh.
A couple weeks ago, a neighbor and I hosted a party to raise funds to install a little free library in our neighborhood. And she and I borrowed so many hostessing pieces from our neighbors. We let them know what we were doing. We invited to the
Uh-huh.
party. So I
Mhm.
think allowing it to be easy by getting your community involved and even hostessing, asking if
Uh-huh.
co-host,
Uh-huh.
maybe having each person bring their favorite dish. I
Mhm.
think the main thing is just creating a space where
Uh-huh.
people come together, and then you
Uh-huh.
can sort of facilitate this opportunity to make some cozy memories.
Right. Yes, I love that because it's, as you're saying, it's really not all about doing like a big production, but
Right.
it's just giving people a really nice, making them have a really nice time with, I guess, putting the emphasis on being with pe friends, family, people that you enjoy their company
Yeah.
rather than, big kind of ostentatious decorations and all of that. So that
Mhm.
really doesn't make or break, I think, the event, right? It's more
No.
about being authentic, I think.
Right. Or another thing I like to do is use the recipe I'm going to make for inspiration. Like, for example, your cookbooks have so many cozy, delicious recipes. And if
Uh-huh.
someone's not sure what to do for their party theme, you could sort
Right.
of build the theme around the dish. So let's say someone wanted to do an American Italian
Uh-huh.
theme, they could
Uh-huh.
choose colors from what the
Uh-huh.
dish is going to look like when it's done.
Right.
Tomato sauce makes a gorgeous red. You've got
Right.
green leaves,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little garnish on the plate. You can
Mm-hmm.
use the dishes themselves as part of your decor and kind of let the dishes take center stage. So maybe put more of your effort into the actual dish that you're creating and sort of let that be the thing that people ooh and ah over when they come into your home.
That's a great idea. So what about having people also maybe bring along a dish too? Do you think that's always a good idea?
I think it can be. And so
Uh-huh.
you do get a little bit into the territory of food allergies or
Right.
really specific preferences. So I would say look at your friend group and
Uh-huh.
decide, okay, is this group of people going to be someone who they need to each kind of bring their own thing to contribute to
Right.
almost like a potluck style situation where
Uh-huh.
at least they know they'll have something that they can eat? Or
Mm-hmm.
do I know my friend group well enough to know that they're up to try anything? So I do
Mm-hmm.
think depending on the group of people you're inviting,
Uh-huh.
you could decide if you want to have people contribute or not based on those food preferences.
Yes, exactly. And then, if anyone has allergies, you probably should make everyone aware if you're telling them to bring along something, so and so has a peanut allergy or a or a tree nut allergy or gluten
Mhm.
or whatever. So can you please, not include whatever
Yeah.
in whatever you're bringing?
Hmm. Yeah, one of my neighbors, they're very traditional, and in
Uh-huh.
their religion, they're not allowed to eat certain things. So one year they hosted the Christmas party, and they just said on the invitation, "This is going to be kosher, so please
Uh-huh.
don't bring anything. We're going to take care of all the food."
Oh, there you
And
go.
it just took all the really took all the stress out of it, because as the guest,
Right.
you're like, okay, the best thing I can do for my hostess is to respect them. And for the hostess, then they didn't have to worry about kind of navigating that when people showed up. They were able to set that
Exactly.
expectation immediately. And then if someone
Exactly.
didn't like it, they don't have to
Uh-huh.
come. And of course, no one did that. But it
Exactly.
lets people know, here's the expectation, here's how it's going to go. You are
Uh-huh.
more than welcome to attend or not.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, and any types of like themes for, should people, is it a good idea to kind of pick a theme for a holiday party if you're hostessing an event?
I do love a theme because I think it helps people decide what they're going to wear. Should they
Uh-huh.
go casual? Should they maybe dress up in a little cocktail attire? Or, maybe you could even do a theme around crazy Christmas sweaters. And
Right.
and then part of the activities for the night could be taking photos with, an instant camera that kind of
Uh-huh.
prints out the little Polaroid style
Uh-huh.
photos that helps people stay off their phone and make memories. And then at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the night, you could have everyone secretly, anonymously vote on who they think had the best sweater, and maybe
Uh-huh.
have a little white elephant or dirty Santa style surprise. So
Mm-hmm.
I do love a theme because I do
Uh-huh.
think it helps set expectations, which is always important. And number
Right.
two, it kind of helps people know what to wear. One of the questions I always get from people is, what should I wear? How should I
Mm-hmm.
dress? Because
Mm-hmm.
everyone wants to feel their best. They want to feel like they
Right.
fit in and belong. And I do think
Exactly.
your host is saying, just kind of letting people know what is going to be happening so that they
Mm-hmm.
feel like they fit to the level of the event, and they sort of match that, and they can think about, okay, well, it's a sit down dinner there, it's a seated dinner with 12 people, and it's
Mm-hmm.
at 7 o'clock in the evening. Go ahead and let people know it's casual cocktail attire. Or
Uh-huh.
you might be having a charcuterie style where everybody doesn't sit down. That's going to be less formal. Let people know they can wear their Friday at the office jeans and their tacky Christmas sweaters.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So we're almost out of time, but the last question I wanted to ask you, do you have any suggestions for hostess gifts? So if you are attending, someone else's hostessing and it's not, let's say, bring, the dish or whatever, bring your own dish. Any suggestions for gifts?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is, typically when someone is a hostess, they
Uh-huh.
are the kind of person who loves hostessing all the time.
Right.
So one of my favorite hostess gifts to give is something that helps kind of replenish their hostess store.
Uh-huh.
So you could create a little basket with some of those. They're like a one-time use napkin. You can get them on Amazon, but they look like fabric linen napkins, and they come
Uh-huh.
with a roll. So I love
Uh-huh.
giving those as a gift because they're very neutral. They go with anything. Maybe get a basket from a thrift store, even, or an antique store. There's tons of
Uh-huh.
really pretty baskets out there. I would maybe wrap it in something like a table runner or a scarf, something they can use for hostessing, and then you have a
Uh-huh.
zero waste packaging. And
Mm-hmm.
then maybe put some taper candlesticks in there and a lighter, because if
Uh-huh.
you're a hostess, chances are you're lighting candles and you're going to go through candles pretty quickly. So maybe something that helps them hostess in the future. Plus, then you've
Right.
probably secured an invitation for a future event if you've helped them out a little bit.
Exactly, exactly, definitely. All great info. And Rachel, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, of course. You can find me at thekennedycurate.com or authorrachelkennedy.com.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much and have a great Merry Christmas. Have a great holiday. I'm sure you will. And
Merry Christmas.
thanks, and hopefully we'll see you back in the near future with some other great tips.
I hope so. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks.
As we wrap up today's segment, I keep thinking about how hosting during the holidays is really an invitation, not just into our homes, but into our lives. It's a chance to gather the people we love to create a moment that feels a little softer, a little slower, a little more intentional than the rest of the year. And the beauty is that it doesn't require extravagance. It just requires heart. If you're hosting this season, I hope you give yourself permission to savor it. Let the candles burn low. let the dishes wait a little. Let the night unfold the way good nights do, with stories, with laughter, with the kind of connection that lingers long after the last guest leaves. Hosting is not about proving anything. It's about offering something, a place to land, a place to feel held, a place to belong. So whether your table is set for 2 or 20, whether everything goes according to plan or absolutely nothing does, remember, the holidays are made in the moments we allow ourselves to be present. And that presence, your presence, is the greatest gift you can offer. And now, as promised, I want to give you my picks for the holiday guide for this week. So I love these Buon Natale Feast of the Seven Fishes tea towels. So if you celebrate Feast of the Seven Fishes, and even if you don't, you can have these for Christmas Eve. They're beautiful to have at your table. So check them out. They're on Etsy. And then there's Sailor's Brew coffee, and I had the Ethiopia coffee, which is really, really good. So Sailor's Brew, I would definitely recommend as a gift. It makes even a great hostess gift. And let's see, then we also had, let me just think of the other products that we had this week. We had Zinzino Skin Serum, which is a great skin serum. You'll see what I said about when I use the product, how it makes your skin feel so soft and hydrated. So you can either gift yourself or gift someone that you really care about. And then, oh, I love this REVOO extra virgin olive oil. It is really delicious. It's cold pressed. It's got this bold peppery flavor, so you're going to really love it. And then there is Ari and Man. There's really a softness to Ari and Man's pieces that feels kind of almost atmospheric. So check out Ari and Man. And I think that was all the products for this week. So check out these wonderful products. And as always, as I mentioned, let us know if you try the products out. Let me know how you liked it, if you agree with me that it's a product that you would recommend. And that's it for today's episode. I love to thank my producer, Britton Roselle, for producing this week's episode, and also my special guest for joining us. And as always, you can find me at marialiberati.com, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Vimeo at Maria Liberati, on our YouTube channel, which is called The Maria Liberati Show, on Twitter or X at Maria Liberati. And you can also find us on Pinterest at Maria Liberati. I don't know if I mentioned Instagram, but that's Maria Liberati. And marialiberati.com, and the blog, where there is more info and links to the products that I am mentioning each week. You can find the blog at themarialiberatishow.com. And don't forget to check out my Gourmand World award-winning book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Holidays and Special Occasions. It is a Gourmand World award-winning book, and I can proudly say it's become a holiday tradition in many households around the world. So check it out, and you can find that at, Amazon and Kindle, and barnesandnoble.com on Amazon and Kindle. You can also find that book in an audiobook version, and many of my other books in audiobook versions. But you can also find the books on the publisher's website, which is artoflivingprimamedia.com, and really anywhere books are sold. And until next week, peace, love, and pasta.